Uh, he's got the ideal size, and he also has the strength. A lot of the scouts do like his run defense and his versatility across the line. They do, however, question his consistency, and I don't have a problem with that because I have seen plays where it looks like he does take plays off, or his motor just doesn't go all the time, especially as a pass rusher. At number 3. What's happening, everybody? This is Big Temp with the Cave Cast. I'm joined today with my co-host, Mr. Mike LaFleur. We've been gone for about a week and a half. Had some things come up. I've been dealing with some dogs and also work. Work is taking some of my time. You know, I was on vacation for a little bit, and then I had to go back to work. And then when you go back to work, it kind of takes you a minute to get back into the swing of things. So I'm just now kind of finding my bearings going back. But we do have some news here, you know, and if you don't know, we are Chiefs fans, plain and simple. We do talk about other things on the show, sports related. And if you are new to the show, please hit that like button. Please hit that sub button. Please hit the hype button. That's a new thing for YouTube that helps us out with the algorithm and getting our show out to other people. It really helps us, especially since we are a small channel. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm alright.
I'm gonna say he's not there.
I'm doing alright.
Anything new?
I got a lot. Now, what you gonna say?
Is there anything new going on in Mr. LaFleur's world?
There is, but we ain't gonna get into all that right now.
Okay, never mind. So,
but I'm doing alright though. Same.
Well, good. So, here's what I want to do. We're gonna make this quick. This show is gonna just give a couple of little pieces of information, things that I've heard today, things that I kind of liked, and I also wanted to get into some things that basically talk about where the Chiefs could possibly go when it comes to draft picks. And we're going to do this on a regular basis up until the draft. Today's show basically will be about who we think are, or how I would say, my choices, not Mike's, because he may have a different rotation. My choices for the top defensive ends in this year's NFL draft. But first, news coming out of the Chiefs franchise. Todd Pinkston was let go as the Chiefs running back coach today. It's not something that I would say that I didn't see coming. I pretty much did see it coming. So something that people need to think about. Todd Pinkston was a wide receiver for some years in the NFL. If I do remember, he did play for the Eagles and Andy Reid at one time. Is that correct? I'm losing Mike all over and over again. I think he's having a problem with his headphones.
No, I'm here. I'll just read it. Honestly, don't know. You might be right on that.
I think it was. So, but neither here nor there. He is no longer with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have not really made a lot of moves as far as hiring goes. I haven't heard of anybody coming in to be interviewed for any of the coaching positions, which makes me tend to believe that there may be a lot of hires that are going to come from within the organization, or they are waiting for guys to, basically be done with the playoffs or get eliminated from the playoffs to have interviews with those people who they may have an eye on. Simple as that.
I actually think they're waiting to see who the OC is, because whoever the OC is probably going to bring in their own guys. So
could possibly be. But as far as that goes, like I said, we don't necessarily know. It's just kind of up in the air right now. So if you're a Chiefs fan and you're still sitting here going, when will they make a move for somebody? Trust me, we understand you. We feel your pain.
And
So
it is now. I will say is they can't technically interview anybody until the 19th
true, true.
because of the
Well,
contract. He's still under
especially
contract
especially
technically.
with yeah, especially with Nagy. So
Yeah,
we
that's what I was
will
referring to.
we'll see how this works out as far as that goes. Also, we did hear from Patrick Mahomes today. Uh, Apparently, Patrick Mahomes was doing an interview, and in that interview, there was a time for him to get across the information that he wanted to get out, and that basically was they were all motivated to get better. And I hope that after the season that they had, that is the case for everybody on the team. Now, mind you, we don't know if everybody's going to be returning to this team, but at the same time, I kind of have a feeling that the guys who will be leftovers or carryovers are going to be motivated, or at least I hope they will be. Here's what Patrick had to say.
Guys are motivated. Coaches, players, we're all motivated to be better this next year. And like I said, it sucks watching these games. I want to be out there playing football, and especially at this time of year, it's the best time of year to play football. So it'll give us the motivation, hopefully, for us to come back stronger next year. Guys are motivated.
So,
coaches.
If you don't understand that guys are motivated, I don't know what else to tell you. I truly believe that guys are motivated. Now, like I said, it's about the carryovers. Who's going to be there? So, it's good to hear from Patrick. We don't get a lot of Chiefs news right now, which is, it's unusual for us. We're not used to this. It's kind of hard not having our names being called or somebody talking about us or, them talking about us in the playoffs. So it's kind of a weird feeling that we haven't had for a while. I don't know about you, but I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this at all.
Yeah, we're usually we're just not used to it because usually when it comes, we're not talking off season talk until after the playoffs. The playoffs are
True.
still going on, so
Yes. So, with that being said, I really, really hope that everything is going well with Patrick's rehab for his knee. There's a lot of talk about when he'll be back, and I'm just going to say it like this. Let's just wait and see. We got a long time before the next season comes around. As far as if Patrick will be back, we have no control over it. It's all about how his body takes to healing and how fast basically he adapts to having, because he's going to have a leg brace on. I'm sure he's done it before when he was at Texas Tech with the same knee. So I think he'll be okay. We'll see how this works out. But again, it's nice to have a little bit of news and hear some of the guys and hear from them talk, especially since we don't get to see Patrick that much. Nice to hear from him. So today's show, like we were saying, is about people, or actually players in the draft. And we're going to do this by positions. And the position that we chose to start with is probably one of the more, between fans, it's one of the most controversial ones, because some people believe that we need a defensive tackle or defensive end. And some people believe we need a running back or a wide receiver. Nobody's in total agreement. I, for one, am, at the point where I think we do need a really good, solid, game-breaking running back. But I am a defensive guy, and I am not opposed to picking up a defensive end, because the Chiefs weren't very good with the pass rush this year. And with Omar Norman-Lott, who was a rookie, only getting to play in 5 games, we never really got to see what he could do. We didn't have anybody else besides Chris Jones, maybe Karlaftis, who did have some pressures, but they couldn't finish. So I'm looking to find out, who is the guy in this draft that we could possibly pick at the number 9 position if we do stay there. Because there is a possibility that the Chiefs do, maybe trade down. We never know. Or trade up, especially with the recent news of Dante Moore returning back to Oregon, the QB from Oregon, saying he's going to return back to school. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see. But I thought it would be interesting to go through these guys and give my list of who I think are the top 5 defensive ends in this draft and who I think could possibly make an impact on this Chiefs roster for 2026. So I'm going to start off with with a guy that I don't think anybody's going to be surprised with as the number 1 prospect for me, and that is Reuben Banks Jr. out of Miami, Florida. I think he's powerful. I think he's a physical edge. I think he's got a strong push against the run, especially. And even though his sack production wasn't as great, I thought a lot of that was because sometimes he would get double teamed in situations. But I think the consistency that is there for his pass rush and pressure is the thing that makes him the top defensive end in this draft. I think he's probably the number 1 defensive end coming out this year. At number 2, a lot of people are going to be surprised by this. I do have Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. Now, Keldrick Falk to me, now listen to what I'm saying. I'm just going to go by the numbers, right? Keldrick Falk to me, and this is just a synopsis. He's long, he's athletic, and he does have ideal size for what Spags likes. And that's why I put him at number 2. Because we don't know if Spags is coming back, but I'm going to pretend like he is, because there's nothing been said, right? Now, mind you, this could change depending on who the defensive coordinator is. He's got the ideal size, and he also has the strength. A lot of the scouts do like his run defense and his versatility across the line. They do, however, question his consistency, and I don't have a problem with that because I have seen plays where it looks like he does take plays off, or his motor just doesn't go all the time, especially as a pass rusher. At number 3, I have David Bailey, and that's the guy that a lot of people are talking about out of Texas Tech, and he's explosive, especially off the snap. He's got strong sack production. He does have some size questions, though. Especially, with that size, it's whose scheme does he fit into well? And I don't know if he's a Spags guy. I don't know if Spags would take a chance on him because of his size, right? But his upside is very clear if you put him in the right system. At number 4, I have T.J. Parker out of Clemson. Well-rounded, with quickness. He's very technical, like he's polished, right? He's drawn a lot of praise from the way he uses his hands, which is a key thing when you're playing on the defensive end or defensive tackle position, especially since he did it against a lot of the top competition and when he was playing in those games, especially in the ACC and the SEC. So that says a lot. I don't know, like I said, depending on Spags, if he's there, if this is the kind of guy he wants. At number 5, I have Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M. He's got speed to power, and that is one thing I think translates no matter where he's at on that line. Striking athletic ability. I see him as a high ceiling prospect from day one, and does have day one pass rush potential. So those are my top five, depending on if Spags is there. Now, I'm going to say 2 more guys that I think that if Spags is there and those guys are gone and they go before we get a chance to pick any one of them, which I'm highly doubting. But like I said, again, it depends on Spags. Zion Young out of Missouri. He's getting a lot of draft buzz going into this season. That's if he does decide to come out. And also LT Overton out of Alabama. Strong 3-4 defensive end candidate with a solid all-around game. The only reason why I have LT Overton as low as I do is because he does not run a 4-3. He is primarily been in 3-4 schemes. The rankings that I have, like I said, they will shift as players declare or do not participate in the Senior Bowl, Combine, and Pro Days. So that just kind of depends. And it also depends on Spags. Now, I heard what you said, Mike. I want you to give me your rebuttal on why you said I'm tripping and at what number or who was the player you thought I should have had in a different position.
Listen, we already have a damn Keldrick Falk.
His name is George Karlaftis.
Somewhat.
Bro, he's too slow. Listen. The whole point of why our defensive line is the way it is right now is because we don't have no damn speed. Okay?
And
Now,
I totally agree with you.
I'm not saying that Keldrick Falk is going to be a bad player because I actually don't agree with that. I think he's going to be good. But I just don't think he solves what the Chiefs need in this point in time when it comes to the defensive line. Especially
go ahead.
At pick 9. Like, no. I just don't see it. That would piss me off. I'm not gonna
okay.
lie.
And I'm saying the only reason I put them in that order is based upon what I thought as far as their ability and if Spags is going to return as the fucking defensive coordinator, because we all know
he is a Spags guy. He is a Spags guy.
Exactly. Because
My
we know
problem
this.
with that, but that's the problem.
I know. And that's what I'm saying. If he's coming back and they allow him to come back, then what's going to happen is they're going to give Spags what he wants. And we know this. Okay, Spags likes.
Each might say F that.
Yeah.
If Bain is on the board,
yeah,
along with him or Bailey, just hypothetical, I have a hard time believing that Spags' word is end all be all.
No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this: if I was Veach and I know what kind of player Spags wants, the number one player on that board is Ruben Bain. He's in the mold of what Spags wants. 270 to 275 pound monster, right? Can get to the QB, automatically disrupts fucking passing lanes and causes pressure, right? The only reason why they would not get Ruben Bain, I think, is if Ruben Bain is not on the board. And then now you have to start looking at, okay, who's left that's going to be in that position that kind of falls in line with what Spags wants. Now, I don't like it.
Spags going to be like, his arm's too short.
He might. But the problem is with Ruben Bain, as badass as he is, that dude causes problems with his other physical attributes that he has. His speed, his power, his tenacity, his ability to get off on snaps is crazy for that size of a guy. He sets the edge well. He is the best defensive end in this fucking draft. I cannot say it any better. To me, if won by the paper.
Hey, and here's the thing with Bailey, yeah, he's not as big as Spags one, but that's only because of the weight. Like, if he was 20 pounds heavier, because he fits the arm size or the arm length and all that.
Yeah.
It's just the weight, because I think he's 250. or
Yeah,
something like that.
and see, there hasn't been a guy that he's brought in except for B.J. Thompson, if I remember right, and he never got to play, but he did have some health issues, right? That has ever been really that small for as far as weight goes that I
I
can
just think
remember.
you would think if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and it don't work out, you would have to switch up something.
You would think.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
you
Like
would think,
you can't
but
keep bringing in the same type of players, bro. Like
and that's
I,
why I said I
I
don't
don't know.
think you're wrong at all. I want to change that up. Now, if I'm going by who I want on this list as far as how I would pick if I was in that position, my number one pick, I already told you, would be Reuben Bain. But if Reuben Bain is not on this board, if he's gone at that time, and we're still at number 9, let's say we're going to pick at that position no matter what, I think I would have to go with David Bailey. Just because of the speed and the ability to get to the QB. He's shown you that he is a pass rusher. I think you would have to go with David Bailey. Damn the weight thing, right? His
Oh, I
ability
agree.
to get to the QB and disrupt passing lanes as far as, getting those long arms in there. Like you said, you can get weight put on him. Now, will he be effective if he's another 20 pounds heavier? I don't know. I can't predict the future. But I would have to believe that can work. They can still get him to that point where he's still just as effective at the next level.
If you look at his frame, I could easily see him putting on like another
Yeah.
10, 15 pounds and him still having that athleticism and that speed to do
Yeah.
what he does. But if you just look at his frame
Yeah.
alone,
His ability to be so explosive off the snap is like what we've been missing. That explosion off the edge, right? We haven't had that. We haven't had that in a long time. And so that's why I said if it's me picking, now what I put out was already, what I thought if Spags was picking. These are the guys that he's going to want. This is how he's going to look at it. But if I'm picking as far as, and those are still my top 5s, right? I'm going to pick, if Reuben Bain's gone, David Bailey, because I believe his explosion is top tier. And like I said, you haven't had that in a long time. Reuben Bain, to me, is still the best all-around defensive edge in this draft by the numbers, but I believe David Bailey has something special. And that's just my pick if I was to pick. So
hey, I'll tell you somebody people sleeping on. Now, to be fair, I don't think you would pick this dude at 9, obviously.
okay.
It's going to be obvious once I say his name. He's not a top 10 pick. But just as a edge rusher and a pass rusher, Joshua Josephs from Tennessee,
Yeah.
now that's a bad boy. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
And
he as a pass rusher, that boy right there, he get to it.
Here's the thing. There are a lot of guys in this draft that are going to be coming out, and there are some that haven't even declared yet. We don't know. We have no idea. They may declare after the Senior Bowl, right? So we don't have an idea exactly everybody that's going to come out for sure yet. But what I will say is this. There is going to be a diamond in the rough that's going to appear, that's going to be picked later. Not in the first round, might be in the 3rd round, 4th round. And they're going to make a name for themselves. And a lot of people are going to look back and say, well, damn, we could have got him in the 3rd or 4th round. That's not how this works.
I think one of them, hey, real talk, I think one of them is Bane's fucking his partner on the other side. The only reason why he's not higher is because of his age. If he was 22, 21, he would be in this conversation.
I want to say he's a little bit older. Yeah, I was going to say
he's like 25.
He's a little bit older. So, and you're right. That is a lot of the things that are going to, hinder some of these guys is, the age thing, right? But, it is what it is. I, for one, am looking forward to finding out who the Chiefs do pick with their first pick. Like I said, I'm a defensive guy, so I would go with a defensive end if I could, but I'm really being pulled towards a running back just because we have not had one in a long time. That's, you know, amongst the likes of a Jeremiah Love. We haven't had anybody like that in a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Now, again, this is just the defensive ends. I want to do another one. I think our next one will be over defensive tackle. There are some guys that are in this draft coming out that I would like to get to and do some looking as far as, what their numbers were. And, we only get one first round pick. And whatever position that the Chiefs pick as far as, the guy that they're going to start with in this draft, we have to kind of, we're going to have to deal with it, right? Don't forget, keep in mind, we still have Omar Norman Lott, who's going to be coming back. You still have Gelati, who played well as a rookie coming down the stretch. We also have Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who's going to be coming back. And we still don't know what's going to happen with Chris Jones. I mean, as of right now, he's a member of the Chiefs, but it could be, that he's not later on. We never know what's going to happen once the trade deadline gets here or the free agency deadline comes in. So, are there any thoughts you have, Mike, about defensive end and, basically, giving your input as far as who else you think could possibly be a match made for the Chiefs that a lot of people are sleeping on besides, Bailey and Ruben Bain?
I ain't gonna lie, man. The defensive tackle, as far as the draft go, there's not very many, honestly. There is a few. Dude from Oregon, he went back to school.
Yes. Yeah, there's a couple of them there going back.
Yeah, he went back. The dude from Cincinnati, Dante Corleone, he's not bad. Lee Hunter is another one. That's the other dude from Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll jump
there's a few.
We'll jump into defensive tackle next week on our next episode. I'm going to try to put up a couple of episodes per week here coming up because I want to try to keep it fresh when it comes to the draft and who we start looking at. And I want to try to keep it to the top five at every position.
I just think the Chiefs need a run stuffer.
They do.
As far as defensive tackle, I don't think they necessarily I think they so you mentioned Omar Norman Lott, right?
Yeah.
They got him. He's more of a pass rusher.
He's a pass rusher.
If you leave him to be the pass rusher, and I think they'll probably get somebody in free agency. If you go and draft a defensive tackle, I think you get a run stuffing defensive tackle, a nose tackle or something like that, versus a pass rusher.
And the defensive tackle, as far as free agency goes in the NFL right now, this year, is not great. It's not a great line of guys to pull from as far as free agency goes this year coming up. So we'll see what happens with that. But we will get more into, further in depth as far as defensive tackle with the draft. Like I said, I want to do the top five, and we'll get your reaction. If you have a choice, if you have any ideas, if you have a favorite that you would like to see the Chiefs pick at defensive tackle or defensive end, for this upcoming draft, give us who you think your top five are for this year's NFL draft. Defensive end, who your top five are, and who's your ultimate number one that you hope that they do get a chance to pick. So, we don't have much. Like I said, we wanted to do this, and I'm going to try to put out another one probably Sunday. We'll probably do one on Sunday and get that out. If not Sunday, it'll be Monday. So get that out and let people look at what our choices are for defensive tackle. But we want to thank everybody that has joined the channel, who has come and watched any of our videos, who has been on this journey with us. We appreciate everybody, and we thank you all for, taking time out of your day to watch whatever we put out. Okay, so I'm Big Temp. That's Mr. Mike LaFleur. We are the Cave Cast, and y'all take it easy.